Today, we are diving into something I think is fascinating, the AI coder's paradox. See, AI is completely changing how software gets made, but it's creating this huge tension between moving fast and building things that last. It's this weird conflict between solving ancient problems and, well, creating a bunch of new ones. All right, let's get into it.
First off, let's just get a sense of the scale here, because this is not some tiny trend. AI coding tools are now fundamental at the world's biggest tech companies. We're talking about a massive study confirming that at places like Google and Microsoft, AI is already writing more than a fifth of all new code. It's not an experiment anymore, it's a core part of how they work. It's everywhere.
And that brings us to the real heart of the issue, right? We know for a fact that AI makes developers faster, more productive, but what's the hidden cost? Is this explosion of AI code making our digital world stronger? Or are we, building the future on a foundation of digital sand?
To answer that, we have to look at the dark side of this boom, this rising tide of what engineers call technical debt.
Now, if you've never heard the term, technical debt is just a brilliant metaphor. It's kind of like taking out a loan with a really high interest rate. You get the cash, in this case speed, right now, but you will pay for it later with interest. And that interest comes in the form of bugs, expensive maintenance, and a system that's just a nightmare to improve.
And wow, the data suggests we are taking out a lot of these loans. A huge analysis by GitClear looked at over 200 million lines of code, and they found this really disturbing trend. Refactoring, that's the healthy practice of improving and reusing good code, it has absolutely plummeted. At the same time, copy-pasted code, a classic shortcut, has shot way up. So the bottom line is we're reusing the good stuff less and just duplicating code way more.
Now, what's really interesting here is the kind of debt AI is creating. A landmark study analyzed hundreds of thousands of AI-authored code changes and found that almost 90% of the problems weren't obvious bugs or security flaws. They were code smells, these subtle issues that make the code harder to understand and maintain down the road. They don't break the system today, but they make it super brittle for tomorrow.
I get this. These problems aren't just getting fixed right away. That same study found that a staggering 24.2%, that's nearly a quarter of all these AI-introduced issues, they just survive long-term. They get committed, forgotten, and become a permanent part of the system's debt.
So, looking at all this, it's pretty easy to think that AI is just a machine for creating future problems. But that's only half the story.
See, on the other side of this paradox, while AI might be creating all this new debt, it's also becoming our single best weapon against the oldest, most expensive debt there is, legacy systems.
This quote from Capgemini just nails it. For decades, updating old software was an absolute nightmare. It was risky, incredibly expensive, and a lot of times, just plain impossible. AI is fundamentally changing that equation. It's turning a once-in-a-lifetime project into something you can actually manage and repeat.
And the scale of the problem it's solving is just immense. Take COBOL, a programming language that's literally older than the internet. There are still 200 times billion lines of it running the critical infrastructure of our society. We're talking banks, governments, insurance. The original programmers are retiring, and finding new ones is, and I love this quote, like finding unicorns.
So how does AI do it? Well, Microsoft and GitHub have laid out this great framework where AI basically acts like a digital archaeologist. First, it dives into that ancient, undocumented code and figures out what it's actually supposed to do, the business logic. Then it writes tests to prove that logic works and generates brand new, modern code to pass those exact same tests. And finally, it cleans everything up by finding modern replacements for old, clunky parts. It's a system to save decades of knowledge from just fading away. Now, this whole paradox, creating new debt while solving old debt, it isn't just affecting code. It's having a massive impact on the careers of the people who actually write it.
Right now, specialization is king. A report from Hakia shows that engineers who specialize in AI and machine learning are already making, on average, a 12% salary premium over general software engineers.
And this chart really just lays it all out. The market is splitting in two. While AI and machine learning specialists saw their salaries jump by over 9%, senior software developers, the experienced folks who do a bit of everything, they actually saw their pay decline by 10%. The value is clearly shifting away from general experience towards specific AI-related skills.
The trend is pretty unmistakable. Roles that manage or specialize in AI are seeing huge gains, but generalist and entry-level roles, they're under immense pressure.
I mean, look at that. A shocking 73% drop in job openings for junior positions. AI is automating the simpler stuff, which pushes the human value towards high-level specialization and oversight.
But, there's a real risk here, too. As AIB Mag warns, if we just blindly trust the AI, we risk losing our own human judgment. For the really critical decisions, the ones that need context and ethics, we can't just outsource our thinking.
So how do we resolve this whole paradox? How do we get all the good stuff from AI without the bad? Well, the answer seems to be all about redefining the human's role in the whole process.
This is it. This is the key takeaway. Capgemini puts it perfectly. The goal isn't for AI to take over. The goal is for AI to handle the boring, repetitive work so that human engineers can focus on the big picture, architecture, security, and the kind of high-level judgment that machines just don't have. It's all about keeping a human in the loop.
And that brings us right back to the resolution of our paradox. See, AI isn't inherently good or bad for code quality. It's just an accelerator. It's a powerful force multiplier. So, in the hands of a rush developer, yeah, it'll accelerate the creation of technical debt. But in the hands of a smart, strategic modernizer, it accelerates getting rid of it. The outcome really depends on the human who's guiding it.
Which leaves us with one last, big question to think about. As AI gets faster and more capable, maybe the most valuable skill won't be the ability to write code anymore, but the wisdom and the judgment to know what code should be written in the first place. So, in a world of automated creation, what's the real value of human oversight? Thanks for watching.